So, imagine walking into the office on a Monday morning, right?
Okay, I'm picturing it.
And your boss comes over and introduces you to a brand new team member.
Which is usually, a pretty big deal.
Right, because they tell you this person is going to be taking on like half of your overflowing workload.
A very welcome addition then.
Exactly. So you reach out your hand to introduce yourself, expecting to ask um, where they used to work, what their background is.
The standard office small talk.
Yeah, but instead of shaking a hand, your boss just hands you a login credential
Ah,
because your new colleague isn't human at all. It is literally just a piece of software.
and this is happening more and more.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you are told to treat this code exactly like the person sitting in the cubicle next to you.
Which is a very specific framing.
Right. So today we are doing a deep dive into a fascinating piece from Technology Review. And they explore this rapidly growing corporate trend of calling AI agents your quote-unquote coworkers.
It's a huge shift in workplace dynamics.
It is. And the article argues that this isn't just, a little silly or quirky. It is actively, fundamentally dangerous.
Yeah, because the language we use to describe our tools entirely shapes our reality.
Right.
When you start applying human labels to non-human entities, you are deliberately setting up a framework of misunderstanding.
Which is exactly what we want to unpack today. Because for anyone, for you listening right now, trying to navigate the modern workplace.
You're going to encounter this.
Exactly. Understanding the shifting dynamics between humans and AI is essential. So our mission today is to figure out why companies are framing AI this way.
And why the source argues this characterization is so dangerously misleading.
Right. So to understand why calling an AI a coworker is a problem, we first need to look at exactly how companies are trying to personify these tools on a day-to-day basis.
Because it really goes far beyond just buying a software license.
Right.
Or putting a shortcut on your desktop.
Oh, absolutely. The Technology Review article outlines this specific scenario where companies are assigning these agentic AI tools to specific employees.
And giving them human names.
Yes. The prime example they use in the piece is an AI named Alex.
Alex.
Right. Just a perfectly friendly, approachable, distinctly human name.
Which is a very deliberate choice by management.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second, because I get that humans love naming things. I have a friend who named his robot vacuum cleaner.
For sure, people name their cars all the time.
Right. We anthropomorphize things for fun in our own homes just to make them feel, less alien.
Human nature.
It is. But management enforcing it as a professional dynamic, that feels entirely different to me.
It is different.
It's one thing for me to jokingly call my laptop Betsy when it freezes up on me. But it's another if my boss explicitly says, make sure you coordinate with Alex on the quarterly report.
Yeah, that creates a completely different expectation.
It feels almost like putting a steering wheel on an autonomous train. It gives the passenger this false sense of control and familiarity, even though the tracks are already laid and they aren't actually driving. So why is there such a rush to dress up a piece of software in human clothing?
Well, what's fascinating here is the psychology behind corporate adoption of new tech.
Okay.
Whenever a business introduces a massive structural technological shift, especially one as, disruptive as autonomous AI workflows, there is immense friction.
Oh, for sure. People get anxious.
Exactly. Employees worry about being replaced, or they are intimidated by the learning curve, or they just naturally resist the disruption to their established routines.
Nobody likes having their day-to-day totally upended.
Right. So that false sense of familiarity you mentioned, that is the entire point.
Oh, I see.
A coworker is a known quantity. You already possess the mental model for how to interact with the coworker.
Right. You know how to delegate to them, how to check their work.
Exactly. So by calling the AI a team member, management is attempting to lower the barrier to entry. They are trying to bridge the gap between a highly complex, programmed entity and your daily workflow by wrapping it in this comforting identity.
So it's basically a psychological trick to get people to use the software.
Pretty much. But the article immediately challenges the safety of this setup. They point out that a friendly name is a disguise. It completely masks the reality of what the tool actually is.
Because you end up projecting human qualities onto something that possesses absolutely none of them.
Precisely.
Which brings up the core thesis of the Technology Review piece, the illusion of true collaboration.
This is such a critical distinction.
It really is.
Yeah.
The source makes the case that these AI agents, no matter how sophisticated their text output looks, they're programmed entities. They completely lack the essential human traits required for actual collaboration.
Namely, empathy, creativity, and contextual understanding.
Right. But here's where it gets really interesting, and I want to play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
Let's look at the actual economic reality of the modern workplace. If I am staring down a massive stressful deadline, and this AI, Alex, can process a year's worth of chaotic data, analyze it, and draft 50 personalized client emails in, like, 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Does it really matter if it lacks empathy? I mean, why should I care? If the goal of a business is to generate value and the AI is saving the company millions in operational hours, isn't raw productivity the whole point of a coworker?
That's a very common pushback.
Right. Like, why do I need it to understand the human condition if it's doing all my heavy lifting?
Well, the problem with that argument is it assumes the task requires zero contextual reality, which is rarely the case in high-stakes environments.
Okay, fair.
It is very easy to fall into the trap of equating raw speed with collaboration. But the article draws a very hard line between executing a task and engaging in true collaboration.
So how do they define the difference?
Think about the mechanics of how a large language model actually operates. It is not thinking. It is not reasoning. It is operating on probabilistic text generation. It's just analyzing massive amounts of data to predict what the next most likely token or word should be based on its training parameters.
But if the output is indistinguishable from a human's work, like 99% of the time, does that underlying mechanism really matter to the end user?
What it absolutely matters.
Even if it looks like a duck and writes quarterly reports like a duck, who cares if it's just predicting tokens?
You care when that 1% error bankrupts a client or ruins a reputation.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because the mechanism defines the failure mode. True collaboration involves reading the room. It involves creative problem solving when things go wrong, and understanding the broader context of a project.
Like having a shared reality.
Exactly.
Right.
If you were working on a strategy pitch with a human coworker and you learned that the client just suffered a massive PR crisis that morning, your human coworker instantly recontextualizes the entire presentation.
Right, they pivot.
They intuitively understand that pitching an aggressive expansion right now would be incredibly tone deaf. They use creative problem solving on the fly, entirely based on a shared human understanding of the world.
They understand the unspoken rules of reality. They know what is actually at stake for the people involved.
Yes, and AI does not have a shared human experience to draw from. It doesn't know why the data matters to the company's survival.
It just processes the data.
Right. It cannot comprehend the concept of a PR crisis beyond the statistical association of words related to bad news.
Right, it's just matching patterns.
Exactly. So when companies apply the label of coworker to this tool, they are actively creating a false equivalence. They're equating human ingenuity with algorithmic processing.
It's like calling a calculator a mathematician.
Oh, I like that.
Right, like the calculator can do complex trigonometry faster than I ever could,
Right.
but it doesn't understand the real-world implications of the numbers.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't know if the calculation means the bridge is going to hold steady or if it's going to collapse into the river. It just outputs the number.
Exactly. And elevating that calculator to the status of a mathematician, or an AI to a coworker, it assigns it an agency it fundamentally cannot fulfill.
Right.
It cannot truly collaborate because it cannot understand. It can only execute.
Okay, but this false equivalence, this lack of context, it isn't just a philosophical annoyance, right? Like, this isn't just something for academics to argue about on Twitter.
No, not at all. It has real consequences.
Because if Alex can't tell the difference between a minor typo and $1 million accounting error, what happens when a human stops double-checking its math?
And that is exactly where things get dangerous.
Which brings us to the tangible, day-to-day fallout of blurring these lines in the workplace. The source points out that pretending an AI is a human peer creates immediate risks for the business.
Severe risks of over-reliance.
So what does this all actually mean for the day-to-day? Are we talking about employees just slacking off? Or are we blindly trusting Alex to handle things it fundamentally doesn't understand?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's the latter. It comes down to a concept called automation bias.
Automation bias. Okay, what is that?
It is a well-documented cognitive phenomenon. Basically, humans have a natural tendency to favor suggestions from automated decision-making systems over contradictory information made without automation.
Oh, like when people blindly follow their GPS, even if it's driving them into a lake?
Exactly. Our brains are always looking to conserve cognitive energy. So when you introduce a highly confident, incredibly fast AI,
And you deliberately frame it as a trusted coworker named Alex.
right, you are pouring gasoline on that automation bias. When you view the AI as a coworker, you let your guard down.
You're basically begging the human employee to turn their brain off.
You really are.
Because, I mean, if a human colleague that you trust hands you a report they've been working on all week, you might skim it, but you are generally trusting their human judgment.
Right. You assume they applied common sense.
You assume if a number looked absurdly wrong, their sense of reality would have caught it before it reached your desk.
Exactly. But when you apply that same social trust to an AI, you are operating under the fatal assumption that it possesses human judgment.
Which we just established it absolutely does not.
Right. And to illustrate how dangerous this is, the article details a very specific case study regarding hallucinated data.
Oh, this part was wild.
It really was. So there was a scenario where an AI agent, again framed as a coworker, was tasked with compiling competitor analysis for a marketing firm.
Okay.
The AI completely hallucinated a non-existent product launch by a major rival.
Wait, it just completely made it up.
Entirely fabricated. It generated convincing details, fake quotes, the whole 9 yards, all entirely based on probabilistic generation gone wrong.
Wow. And because it was presented with absolute confidence, and because the human employee was culturally primed to view the AI as a reliable colleague who, did the research.
They didn't verify it.
They didn't check the work.
No, they forwarded the hallucinated data directly to the client.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the client panicked. They mobilized resources to counter a product launch that literally didn't exist.
That's a disaster.
The entire relationship fractured. And the human employee didn't check the work because they succumbed to automation bias, which was heavily exacerbated by the anthropomorphic framing.
Right. They forgot the tool's inherent limitations because the corporate culture deliberately obscured those limitations behind a friendly persona.
Exactly. Critical thinking is the very first casualty when workplace dynamics become confused by anthropomorphized software.
That is just wild to me. By trying to make the tool feel friendly and accessible, management actively trained their employees to use it irresponsibly.
You did?
If you think the AI is your peer, you stop managing it. You start treating it like a collaborator who can share the cognitive load.
But an AI needs a human in the loop. It needs to be managed, audited, and directed by a human. It cannot be treated as an equal partner.
Because when workplace dynamics become this confused, accountability completely vanishes.
Absolutely.
If Alex makes a catastrophic error because it lacked the context to understand what it was doing, like hallucinating a competitor's product who is actually to blame.
Right. You cannot fire a piece of software.
Exactly. You can't put a statistical model on a performance improvement plan.
No, you can't. The human who was supposed to be directing the tool bears the ultimate responsibility.
But that human was explicitly told by their boss to treat the software like a peer. That puts the employee in a completely impossible position.
The huge double standard.
They are being held accountable for the output of a machine they were instructed not to treat as a machine.
Which is precisely why the article argues so vehemently against this trend. Recognizing these operational dangers naturally forces us to reconsider how we should be integrating this technology moving forward.
Right, because the focus has to shift to the solution. And the conclusion of the piece is the absolute necessity of maintaining a clear, unmistakable distinction between human and non-human team members.
Because the technology itself isn't the enemy here, right? The framing is.
Exactly. Businesses obviously need to harness AI's potential responsibly. Nobody is saying we should go back to typewriters and abacuses.
No, the source is very clear that we shouldn't abandon AI. It is an incredibly powerful capability that supercharges productivity and generates massive value.
But they have to do it while loudly acknowledging the unique, irreplaceable value that human employees bring to the table. The issue is establishing the correct boundaries.
Right.
It makes me think about a master carpenter and a state-of-the-art laser-guided power saw.
Oh, I love this analogy.
Right. That saw is an incredible, essential tool. It speeds up the work exponentially. It can make cuts in seconds that would take a human hours with a handsaw.
Absolutely.
But no matter how advanced or how fast or how expensive that saw gets, you would never call the saw your coworker.
No, you wouldn't.
You would never expect the power saw to sit down with the client, listen to their lifestyle needs, and actually design the house. The tool is nothing without the human's creative direction.
Exactly. And if you treat the power saw like the carpenter, you don't just get a badly designed kitchen, you end up with a fundamentally dangerous worksite.
Right, you get someone losing a finger because they expected the saw to know when to stop on its own.
Yes. It requires the master carpenter to guide it, to understand the grain of the wood, to apply it correctly, and to know exactly when a different approach is needed.
So knowledge of an AI's capabilities is only valuable when it is applied with those clear boundaries.
That is the final takeaway here. It is crucial for businesses to advance technologically, but doing so responsibly means never confusing the utility of a programmed entity with the irreplaceable empathy, understanding, and creativity of a human being.
Because the power saw doesn't appreciate the beauty of the mahogany it is cutting, right?
Yeah.
It just spins the blade.
Right.
And the AI doesn't understand the purpose of your business or the emotional weight of a client interaction. It just executes the code.
Maintaining that rigid distinction protects the integrity of the work and the psychological safety of the workplace. We have to celebrate human traits.
The ability to read a room.
The intuition to pivot when data doesn't feel right.
Exactly.
The empathy to understand a client's unstated needs. Those are the true drivers of collaboration. The AI is simply an engine to help us execute our human vision faster.
And when we elevate it beyond that, we degrade the value of actual human insight. So today, we started by meeting our imaginary AI coworker, Alex. We explored the psychological friction that drives companies to dress software up in human clothing, using anthropomorphism as a shortcut to lower the barrier to adoption.
But as we dug into the mechanics of how these tools actually function, we saw how quickly that illusion of collaboration falls apart.
Right. Probabilistic token generation versus true cognitive understanding. We unpacked the very real systemic dangers of over-reliance and automation bias.
How treating code like a colleague causes us to let our guard down.
Right. To abandon our critical thinking and forward hallucinations to clients because we assumed the software possessed a human sense of reality. And finally, we recognized the unreplicable value of actual human collaboration. We have to keep a hard line between the tools we use and the necessity of a human in the loop.
Because as this technology continues to evolve and become even more integrated into our daily workflows, our understanding of our own human value has to evolve alongside it.
It has to.
Instead of feeling threatened by the raw processing speed of an AI agent, we need to double down on our empathy, our judgment, and our contextual understanding of the world, because those are the exact elements the machine will never possess.
Well said. And for you listening right now, as AI inevitably continues to shape your specific work environment and the tasks you handle every day, it is vital to keep asking the right questions. Stay clearly informed about what your tools can and cannot do.
Don't let a friendly name or a conversational interface lull you into a false sense of security.
Right. You are the one bringing the true understanding to the table. And I want to leave you with one final kind of lingering question to mull over as you go about your day.
Go for it.
If corporate culture successfully trains us to interact with emotionless programmed software using the exact same language, patience, and social cues we use for human beings,
Yeah.
how long until we start expecting our actual human colleagues to function like software?
Oh, wow. That is,
Yeah.
that is a chilling thought.
Right. So next time your boss calls you over to meet the new team member, you'll know exactly what you are looking at. And more importantly, you'll know exactly what it's not.